here. Welcome to the CrossFit Canada podcast, brought to you by affiliatevaservices.com, and the place to tell Canadian affiliate owner and coaches stories. And I'm excited for my guest today, Emilie Regniere, and I was sort of close on the name pronunciation, from CrossFit YUL. How we kick it off is you're gonna introduce. I mean, even though I just did, introduce yourself, your affiliate, and we do a question of the day, like if you were gonna drop in my affiliate. So, question of the day: are you team pumpkin spice latte or not?
All right. Do I start with the question of the day?
You can start wherever you want.
Okay. So I'm actually not on team pumpkin spice. I like my coffee just the same every day, just a plain old latte. And my name is Emilie Regniere. I'm the proud owner of CrossFit YUL here in Dollard-des-Ormeaux in the west end of Montreal. And I have been for 8 months now.
8 months as this is being recorded. She's still got the sticker on it. So, and that's what's exciting, and we'll get into that aspect. But, first, the important business. I am not team pumpkin spice as well. I'm just black coffee every day. I think I asked Carrie Ann when she was on, like, coffee or tea, and she's like, neither. I'm like, how do you even do it, lady? Yeah. You need some sort of caffeine intake in there from there. So I like to go right back to the beginning. So Emilie, when did you first start doing CrossFit, and what was your exposure? What did that look like?
So about 13 years ago, I decided to do some bodybuilding after having my first child, to get back into shape. So I started that journey, and through working out for bodybuilding, we got into CrossFit. I would say I was probably going once a week back then, in a non-affiliate at the beginning. And that was my first exposure to, let's say, cross-training or that type of training. And then after I finished with bodybuilding competitions, I moved on to something more functional and something a whole lot more fun for the community part of it. I'm really into people. I'm really a social butterfly. So that's where they got me in terms of CrossFit.
Okay. What did, because I am always curious, especially like, I think we can be a little bit too like CrossFit or nothing else. Like, what was that bodybuilding world like for you? And as you said, like you did it for a little while. What did you do? Competitions? What was that like?
Yeah, so I did do competitions. I did actually one stage competition that was a figure competition. So it's very much about what you look like and your body composition. So it's a different journey that you're on, because you're really focused on the result in terms of your shape of your body, and you'll do just about anything, I guess, to get there. At that point, I was doing natural bodybuilding, so that I'm off the hook for everything not natural. But so that was my journey. And actually, with bodybuilding, I discovered my love of hard work and getting the result that I was looking for, and also the love that I have for working out with people.
Interesting. And so I'm guessing too, there was a strict like diet, and I want to say nutrition, because like that's what the term we use in CrossFit, but I almost feel like in bodybuilding it is almost more of a diet in a way, isn't it? Because you're trying to get to a certain level of body fat percentage so that you can be lean. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's a definitely a big part of it that's about what you eat and how you eat and when you eat, and very more focused on it being strict and definitely more restrictive. So a lot of things were right off the plate literally off the plate. So yeah, a lot of it was that. Mind you, I feel like that wasn't my focus for most of it. Was my focus was on learning more how to have an effect on my body through exercise. So maybe I was probably in a good team, I'll say, because we were part of a sort of a team of bodybuilders. So I was in a good coaching team.
Okay. So you were dabbling then with almost, would it be like, because you said like it was at a non-affiliate, which, you know, it's okay, we won't hold it against you. But was it more like CrossFit style workouts at that point? Like, so if we're thinking 13 years ago, we're looking at 2011 to 2013 time. Was it like, hey, like, let's look at .com, or was it just this was programmed at this gym, so like a few of us did it? What was that kind of like in those early days? Where did the workouts come from?
So the workouts, I think, were probably created by the gym where I was dropping in. And it was really, for me, it was an add-on to what I was already doing in terms of the bodybuilding. So back in the bodybuilding day, what I was doing was really a routine of like 3 sets of one muscle, and we were really focused muscle by muscle. So I think the idea of going to CrossFit was to get that intensity. And it was almost, from what I remember, it was almost seen as, we're going to get our cardio. Like, let's go get cardio done and do CrossFit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. And I do often see that when like more lifters or power lifters come in, they're like, oh, my cardio is terrible. And so then as you got out of bodybuilding, how did you transition? What was the thought process behind, like, were you like, okay, I want to start doing CrossFit every day, 3 times a week? How did your routine shift when you started making that kind of change?
So I think I looked around a little bit for different ways to work out. And definitely the workout in a group was something that was really appealing to me. So connecting with others, and, you know, as a mom of, by then I was a mom of 2, probably almost my 3rd was there. So it was like connecting with people that were going through the same thing. And that was my focus. So I think then I got, of course, for me, it was like you step into a CrossFit gym, you already want to work out. And then they kind of, you know, they pull you into the gang, and there you are. So for me, it was right away working out 5 times a week, probably as much as I could. And then it becomes like a hangout point. So you don't want to not go.
Well, were you, so I mean, I don't know, like, not to generalize in any way, but so at this point you're 2, maybe 3 kids, were you working at that point, or were you a full-time mom? What was, so, because I just think that affects what time of day you come to class and things like that, right?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I was working for a corporate, in the corporate world back then. I was working for a company where an insurance company actually, and we would, I was in the team of rehabilitation for people that were on disability. So I had a good flexibility in my schedule. I would say I've always organized my schedule around my workouts. Even with bodybuilding, it was the same thing for me. I would put it in my schedule and then organize the rest of my life around it, as opposed to the other way around. But with 3 kids, I think quickly I realized that CrossFit gyms were more likely going to let me bring the kids in, have an area where they could hang out in the front or whatever. So, and then because, you know, there was a lot of parents where I was going, I guess we all had our kids together, and our kids kind of grew up together. So that made it even more fun to pop in the gym.
Very cool. And what gym was this at? Like, where were you? Were you in Montreal still, or like where were you
in
at
Montreal? So I would say this gym in particular was in Lachine. It was also not an affiliate gym, but it was a friend of mine who owned it. And so yeah, that's where I got into CrossFit, really, like as a regular workout routine. And that's also where I started sort of coaching. At first I was the girl who would open the gym for the open gym. not coaching at all. And then their standards of coaching were quite different than what I know now about affiliates. So I became a coach through kind of the back door that way.
Yeah, and I think even in that time frame, like standards across the board were a lot different because we didn't know what we didn't know. I think of way back in the day, like I didn't come out onto the floor until like 15 minutes into the class because like the group should be responsible for their own warm up and we finished with 5 minutes left, so I have 20 minutes to sit and eat between classes. It's like those just types of things we did in that time frame. You're nodding yes, like yep, sounds about right.
That sounds about right.
When did you take your level 1?
So it's been 2021, actually, December 2021. Yeah, it's gonna be 4 years.
Okay, very cool. So, pardon? Yeah, so you had done CrossFit for a decent amount of time, started coaching, or at least what your what at that time the version of coaching was.
Yeah.
But then I'm guessing at this point, 2021, had you made the change to YUL, or was there an in-between gym in there as well?
No, so then COVID happened, everything kind of shut down. So then we were doing online stuff. And then my family and I, right after COVID, we decided to go travel for 6 months. So we traveled. And then when we came back is when I started with YUL. So I signed up, and like the first workout I did, I signed up right away. I knew this is my spot. So, yeah.
What was different about it at that point?
I think what was different was definitely the community and the energy that was there, but also the level of coaching. That's the one thing that was the differentiator for me. Definitely was like, oh, they're present the whole time. Wow, they're showing me how to do things. And just, yeah, that to me was something new that I was really interested about. And so I think it was maybe a week after I started, or 2 weeks after, that I told the owner at that point, one day I'm going to have a gym just like yours. Not knowing where this would lead to.
He's like, oh, well, but it is kind of funny, like how those little thoughts or moments or conversations like can plant the seed for I ended up with my affiliate because Mike, the previous owner, he had just passed his level 3. And this was in 2018, I believe. Yeah, it was. And so I messaged him on Instagram and I just said, hey, like, can I come up and buy you coffee? Like, we haven't met, like we know each other, but we haven't met. Can I come buy you coffee and I just pick your brain about the exam? And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem. So do that and we chat, but then I leave. And then in his head, I guess him and his wife were wanting to sell. They're like, oh, here's this guy that's like passionate, who's investing in like himself and his education and his coaching. Like, he's like, I wonder if. And then it was about 4 months later that he had sent me an email just to say, hey, can we meet for coffee again? And he presented it. But the irony was like, it was like that when the week he sent me the email asking if I wanted to have coffee again, that week I was like, I would never want to own an affiliate. Like I only want to coach. Like, it was just like, oh, maybe I just didn't want to own what I thought was an affiliate at that time. Right. Before you're exposed to something different.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. That makes so much sense. I think before, if you had asked me, well, mind you, I had been dreaming this up for a really long time in different ways, but it was also always an experience that felt or was different from what I had experienced. Like I would dream up this scenario where if this was mine, here's what I would do with it. Or if I was the owner, here's where I would take it, type of thing. But then when I walked into YUL at that time, from what I knew, I thought, wow, this is really something else. Like, this is great. So yeah, that same thought.
And that to me is really cool. And, you and I had talked before we got started, like I had no idea to take this conversation this way. But what's interesting about that is, like, still to this day, many people question like the affiliate dues and the affiliate fees and if it's worth it and things like that. But YUL was formerly Reebok CrossFit YUL, and that kind of brings them a little bit closer to the nucleus, to the center, right, or to the sun. And I guess, though, it's like interesting that you had such a stark comparison between a gym that did CrossFit workouts and a gym that is like hardcore CrossFit because they're supported by Reebok. Reebok has a partnership with HQ. You see what I mean? And it's like you wonder what you get. It's like, well, you get a direction to go.
Yeah, you get a direction. I can imagine you get a structure. I wasn't there when it was a Reebok affiliated gym, or Reebok banner gym, but I can imagine there was a structure there. There was people there who had done this previously, who had an idea of how to do things maybe a little bit smoother or more efficiently. Whereas if you're not an affiliate, or if you're, I guess if you're just starting up, like, you don't have that idea of a structure. And it depends who, and there's a lot of factors that can go into there. But for sure, for me, it was like a world of difference, because the other gym was much more, the owners wanted to work out, and they wanted a space to work out kind of place. And then just got their friends to, like, hey, we have to split rent, almost, not really, but almost, like, we have to split rent, oh, you're cool, come work out with us, split the rent. And then the rent, like, everyone's fees goes down kind of thing. And so it was a great place to sort of like to work out. It was a great feeling, but at the same time, it was not the same level of business or the same level of coaching, or even the program was not the same, really.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like, as you said, it's like you walked into this different place and you're like, whoa, like right away, it just hits you with an energy and a culture and whatnot that is just completely unexpected.
Yeah.
So how did your journey then evolve? So if 2021 is when you got so COVID, you guys traveled, then you signed up with at YUL. And then when did you start getting more involved on the business and back end side of things there?
So it must have been like probably like May or June 2022. So not even a year after I started with the gym, I was coaching. So long story short, I didn't take a job when I got back from Europe. I was coaching people online, not even in fitness, just habits coach type of thing. And then, so I got offered the position to manage the gym, and I was really involved. Like, I was available, right? I spent a lot of time here, so I was really involved at that point. I was coaching more hours, and then there was this need, so just kind of fit in at that point. And like I said, it's something that I had been really dreaming up a lot, so I stepped right into it. when there was a chance, I said yes for sure. Yeah.
Why do you think what was calling you to own, like, were you wanting to own a gym first, or were you wanting to own a CrossFit gym? And what do you think was pulling you in that direction?
Definitely, it was a CrossFit for me. Like, if I had, even if I had started from scratch, it would have been a CrossFit gym for sure. I think the methodology and the mix of the community aspect is really important. And for having I worked for about 15 years for the insurance company with rehabilitation. So just the functional approach to working out, the functional approach to rehab just makes sense for me. And when I say rehab, it's like prevention and rehabbing people in many ways,
Sure.
Physically and psychologically. So it's all this that's mixed in for me for CrossFit. And so it would have been that methodology, and it would have been that type of community as well, because I think the support is there. The accountability is there, the support is there. Of course, not all gyms are made the same, but I think as a baseline for CrossFit, that's how it works. It's just a natural thing that occurs. So for me, it would have been a CrossFit gym, definitely. So that's what got me when I walked in. So that's what I see could work for everyone else, for anyone, right? Not everyone, but anyone.
For sure. Yeah, exactly. So did you start like researching, building business plans, anything like that, like quietly on your own? Did you start reading books? What did you do?
Yeah, I did that even before I was when I was still in the corporate world. I worked hard on a vision, on a business plan. I had all that sort of prepared. A couple of times I went to look at spaces and started seriously, following some steps. But there was also always something that happened at the same time that just didn't pan out for me at that time. But I kept that in mind always. So when I got the opportunity with YUL to take on like a more serious role and part of the business management, it was sort of like, this is a good learning curve for me. Even if I didn't even think about owning or anything like that, I was thinking this is a great learning curve for me. Like, this is where I want to go, and it just makes sense. And there was sort of nothing in the way, so it just happened.
Yeah, I guess as you're saying, like you got to sample what it would look like in some way, shape, or form,
mm-hmm.
and see if it was for you.
Exactly. And I think the great part about it is at that time there was a need, and there was a lot of space to build things, and I was able to be creative. Like, I was getting along great with everybody, so it was easy for me to create things. I could recreate things from, let's say, the corporate world, so I could pull on some things that I had learned. I have a bit of background in lean management. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's
Sure, yeah.
so okay. So I was able to pull on
I know what it is, but I guess for the tens of people listening, give a little background of it. Like it's not helpful if someone's listening. Well, like, I want to know what that is.
Yeah.
So yeah, because in lean manufacturing is really cool. Like, I've seen it because my background's in marketing, but in the marine side, and like, it's like, if this pen has a spot, there is a spot on the desk with the tape around it, and it says pen, and that's where this pen goes. So what is your experience with it?
Yeah, that's the extreme, let's say, very extreme part. But so I was part of a team that was called the Continuous Improvement Team. And what we would do is we would meet with different teams and different executives in the company, so the insurance business, and really look at their current processes and their strategies and try to it's called lean because you try to thin it out. You try to really take all the waste out, so all the wasted time, all the wasted steps in things, and really try to make things as efficient as you can. And so that's the heart, I would say, of lean management. And also try to get the right people at the right place, playing the right roles, right? And so I was able to pull on those principles and bring that into the gym and into the team and the processes that we had in place. So it was really fun for me to be able to take that and be creative in how things were already done.
That like fires me up a lot, because like, it's not that the way things were run before in any way, shape, or form are right or wrong. It's just understanding, like, I think you and I both know, like, we have to understand that lean management is a style and a way of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
However, across the board, affiliate owners potentially are often drawn into the struggle. Like, it has to be difficult or complicated, or if it's like, if it feels easy, then something must be wrong. And realizing, like, no, in business, that doesn't have to be the case. It can, like, so is is that bringing that in, is that potentially has that affected your experience so far, I guess, is a way to get there.
Yeah, so I think that's true, that, and not only for CrossFit affiliate owners, that if it's hard, it must mean it's going to yield something greater. We have that mindset about our workouts often, and it's not always true. That being said, I think it's shaped the way I lead the team. So the way I led the team when I was managing, as well as the way I'm leading the team now, to keep it simple, keep things, as straight as you can in terms of straight shooting, in terms of, the standards of coaching, the drills we use. Oh, that's a big thing right now. The drills we use, how to go back to baseline, use your level 1, sit on the level 1, make sure you've got that down pat before you bring me anything from Instagram. Mind you, all the Instagram drills can be great. But, so making and then having a standard so that we can use the standard until it's proven that something better comes along is also something that I took from lean management into how I lead the team or the gym. So meaning we do ABC to prepare our class, and then we use the ABC to give our class. And then if ABC no longer works, let's look at it and make it better. So that's what we continuously do. So I don't know if that answers your question or not, but yeah, that's how I brought it
in. Yeah, because I mean, it's not about getting granular. It's just understanding the broad aspects of CrossFit. CrossFit is an input versus output program. Like, our scores are the outputs. That part's really important.
Mm-hmm.
And so we know through these inputs, A, B, and C, that it yields this output. But if someone comes along and has done C, D, and E, and that yields a better, but it has to be an objective output, right? And so we know that in CrossFit as our scores, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing about CrossFit is like, no, it doesn't have to be CrossFit this way. It's just realizing like, hey, if this improves our output, then we're gonna look back in that. So what for you were some things that you wanted to focus on as you, and I'm guessing, then as you move truly from like a management role into actually becoming the new owner of the gym, what were some of the things that you wanted to focus on, and how did you keep them objective so that they could be measured?
Actually, the first thing I wanted to focus on was having a stable and strong team. So of course, I guess for me, it's hard to it was harder to understand how to build a team and how to keep my team. I don't know if all the CrossFit affiliates are the same in terms of like the challenges that this presents, because not all your coaches are going to be full-time. Not all your coaches will stay for a lifetime, and beginning to understand that for some it's a hobby, for some it's a passion, and then for some it's a serious job, and for some it's not so serious. So anyways, all that to say, I wanted to better understand this. And so also I wanted to build some solid coaches that have, I would say, that have a reputation for themselves in terms of coaches, because I'm very much into making sure that they shine first. So two things I want to build is my community, and then I also want to build my team, and I want to showcase that YUL are those two things mixed together. And so I started to build the team, and I kept it objective by understanding what a coach's journey should look like in my gym in terms of growing their knowledge, understanding where they want to go, and how I can support them. And so that's how I kept it objective in terms of having a high-level idea of a coach's journey, and then looking at where they are at individually on the journey, and then helping them move through their own journey, because everyone's going to have different things that they want to achieve, different things they want to learn. So that's what we're looking at. And then we're also looking at our baseline standards in terms of coaching in the gym. What does that look like? And then I measure them through evaluations, observational evaluation. That's mostly what I do for now. And then down the line, I would really love for them to evaluate one another so we can share feedback and we can share ideas. But that's going to be for in a little while once they get through understanding how I give feedback, I guess, and how we can all benefit from that.
And I'm guessing like there, like if we talk about the word intimidation, like, so you come in and you take over an affiliate from Mike, who ran it for, I believe, 11 years, roughly, already an established coaching team. You had just got your level 1. There could be a certain level of intimidation, but I'm guessing you got buy-in pretty quickly, because what I'm hearing is like you had a plan and a vision and a direction that you want to go. And when you have those things, people and like team members, they fall in line pretty quickly, because that's what builds the confidence in you. Would you agree, disagree? Like, have you seen that?
Yeah, well, I think one thing is I had been there for a couple years already as manager, like a year and a half, maybe, give or take, as a manager. So I think there was a shared vision there with Mike. So they knew me pretty much. And then also I think the coaching team was not that stable through the years that I was there, that we lost a few coaches, we gained a few new coaches. And so fortunately, they were not that long-standing that it was a shock to them. The ones that were there knew me very well already, so that was good. And then since I bought the gym, we did grow in terms of teams. So we do have more coaches than we've had. So these new coaches definitely, they know my vision and they, they agree with the vision. I think it's one thing as a leader, you need to have your own vision, but also I really try to have a common vision to get the right people, I guess, but also to allow myself to be influenced by what they want to do, if that makes sense. Like, I have a higher vision, but they get to influence me with their ideas and help me build that vision for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, you're not leading or managing by committee, but you're staying humble enough to say, like, if there's a better way to do it. Like, it sounds like that's what you're doing, right? It's like back to the lean management strategy. Like, you're giving the team the empowerment to say, if you have a better way of doing it that meets these goals or this direction that we want to go, then please, by all means, bring it forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really truly think that that's what allows people to thrive and allows people to stay in your gym or in your environment, is by giving them a piece of themselves to play with. Like, come in and show us what you can showcase, kind of thing. That's really my approach. And yeah, I take that from lean management for sure. Yeah. It's part of my personality, but it's also from lean management. Yeah.
And like, even understanding, like, someone could truly like start researching lean management right now, but because we've seen many gyms change hands just in Canada, especially obviously in the US, there's 10 times as many gyms down there.
Yeah.
But as I wonder how many people would have the dream to either own an affiliate or take over an affiliate, but their hesitation is that, well, I wouldn't be the best coach, and as the owner, I need to be the best coach.
That's something that's something you struggle with. That's definitely something you struggle with. I've even had a member tell me, well, you can't do muscle ups. How come you own a gym? My answer was the bank never asked me. They didn't ask if I could do muscle ups, you know? So it just speaks to like, actually, and I think that's part of my personality as well. Like I said, I'm someone who, I don't thrive to be the best at everything. I thrive to be the best at the thing that I'm most passionate about. And my passion is to bring this vision together. And I understand that if I need to be the end all be all of everything, it's just not going to work out. It's not. So I think I have that in mind all the time. And it is intimidating to not be the best coach. It definitely could be intimidating. But at the same time, I want to hire the best coaches. So if I'm the best coach and that's the end of that, then it'll never be better than me, right? So I'm that limitation. I want to take myself out of that equation and not be that limitation. I want to make sure that I keep my eyes on being the best at bringing all the best in. That's my vision, is like, I'll take everyone who's best and I'll make them into a team, and then we'll be the best together, because I can't do this by myself.
Well, and I think so many people, like, they might struggle with, and it's very interesting that with that mindset, you've already added coaches in a short period of time, whereas like affiliate owners can often struggle to grow their team, and we know managing the team is its own other story, but like, how do you grow the team is if you have the mindset of like, I have to be the best, then you're actually creating almost an end point for your team.
Yeah,
and
100%.
right?
Yeah,
But
and
like,
even
by
if
being
you,
able to create the
if you
space
think,
for them.
yeah, exactly. And sorry, I cut you off, but I was going to say, even if you think that one coach has to be the best, for me, it's like one of the first few questions I ask someone who's interested in coaching is, well, what do you want to learn more? Like, where do you want to take this? Where do you want to go? Do you want to go super specialized? Do you want to go super generalized? Like, where is it that you're the best at? What you're most passionate about in terms of CrossFit? Where do we go from here? And it's always looking for that continuous improvement in people that allows me to say, I have someone who's super focused on weightlifting. I'll give you, any example. And then someone who's super focused on endurance, and they can be the best. And then they can influence each other and give each other information and feedback on those cues and on those points of coaching, as opposed to having it be just one path for everyone. So that's how you can get everyone to be the best at something. And that's how you create, for me anyways, that's how you create the best team, is like having people who are interested in, even if they're interested in the same thing, they're going to be interested in it in different ways. So it's bringing the best out of people, I think. Bottom line.
Well, and even but that word, in a way, best, like, can be misguided, I think, at times also, to say like, right, like, just as like, what is best, and if we're trying to figure out who is best, it's different than a workout where like we can figure out who's fastest, and then even then, in objectively in the CrossFit Games, it's he who performs statistically or averagely best across all tests that is the fittest. You never have the home run hitter win the CrossFit Games. And so we have to look at like, okay, well, you already said you want to grow a community. So if you have a community focused team, then best could actually be like, well, it's the people that, and we're still saying like, we still have to hit the markers of a great class, an effective class. You can't just be a cheerleader, because people see through that. But I'm guessing your output, if we're talking inputs and outputs, like your output for a best coach is going to be to like foster and grow and enable the community. So
absolutely,
what does that community growth look like for you as a goal?
So it's understanding, who we want to bring in the community. So I think one thing I have my eyes on right now is understanding the effect of bringing new people in, and how helps the community grow and how to do it as best as we can, I guess, for both the community that's already in place and the new people coming in. How do we influence that positively so that it's the best experience for everybody? And then understanding people's journey in my business, so people's journey in the gym, in fitness, and in community, and being able to continuously feed that so that they can remain here and happy, kind of thing, right? So high level, it's really understanding my client journey and then being able to always give our best. So caring is the nugget there, is caring, right? Caring throughout people's journey, because they will come in for one thing, people's lives change, they need other things, and like if you're in tune to that, if the team is in tune to that, then we can do the best we can throughout their lifespan.
I caught on something there that was interesting to me, is like educating the members about, like, new members joining the gym is really important. It's like for both the growth of the business, but the growth of those people. Like sometimes there can, the community itself, like our community in our gym, and I'm just speaking generally, can be a bit of a trap because people become so protective over it that they actually don't really become welcoming to new people. And so,
yeah.
right, like have you seen that in, like, maybe in different drop-ins or something, and realizing like, no, I want a place that is welcoming people with open arms?
So I'll speak for our gym, because I feel very lucky that I don't think we have that experience here, and I might be blind to it. But I from what I see, we have put in place over time different touch points, I guess, in class with new people to break the ice more than once, to create some connections, but like to have people create connections with these new people, and to make sure that there's no cliques in our gym as much as possible. You don't want that to happen in your gym. I think that's a problem for welcoming new people. And so I work really hard. The team works really hard with how we welcome people. So there's quite a bit of touch points before, during class, and after class with new people, to make sure that they really feel welcomed in the community. And I think that stays throughout, because I've seen it a lot where newer members who have recently become part of the community, let's say in the last 6 months, see newcomers and right away tell them, oh, that was me not long ago, and here's what I did, and here's what happened, and here's what I'm seeing, and don't worry, everyone's here to help you, and here's where you find the elastics, and over there is this material, and you see the impact, like someone did that to them and now they're ready to do it to the next person. And it's just, that's how we roll in the gym. So yeah, really good.
Because, you said the client journey. I've dissected a new member journey over and over and over again, and I've made it so complicated, so confusing. I've tried different on-ramps, different aspects, and you can, but like to your point about the lean manufacturing, or sort of the lean management style, it's like there comes a point where, it doesn't have to be so, I've always wondered about, like, okay, like we need to guide this person through their first 90 days. We need to be so hands-on, so involved, which is not untrue, but realizing, like, okay, from a business standpoint, those things have a cost associated with them.
Definitely.
And right. And so your acquisition costs for a new person could sometimes outweigh for if they're going to leave anyway. And so I'm rambling, but I'm just recently we've done 4-session on-ramps, 3-session, 1-session, and then just as purely an experiment, not right or wrong or any way, shape, or form, I'm trying to experiment with just a free trial, try a class, and then if you like it, join.
Okay.
And I got to see something really cool this morning. Was a gentleman tried the 7 a.m. class. I just happened to be able to meet him there at 8 a.m. afterwards, and got to introduce myself and say, hey, like, so these are your options if you want to go. But then, you know, Shannon, one of our older 7 a.m. members, stops and was like, he had to partner with me. Oh, you know, he got stuck with me, and they had a laugh about it, right? And then I'm taking him through something else, and then Blake, another fellow, like hits him like, hey, great job, like gave him a fist bump on the way out the door. And so I guess the point is like, when you focus on bringing that community and culture as part of the new member journey, you can have a very strong system that doesn't have to be Emilie doing everything or Matt doing everything. So we as owners don't have to be that big touch point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when you design your client journey, you have to think about those touch points as actual touch points, even though they're more organic and they're not planned ahead and they're not like on a timer. You can create that culture for it to happen naturally every time. And sometimes it'll be Susan, or sometimes it'll be Blake, and then sometimes it won't. It'll be, you know, Mary or whoever else who does it, depending on your time and of day and whatnot. But we have that culture where we provoke these things in our members. So, for example, if I know someone's coming in for a trial, I'll make sure that my coach knows ahead of time. They know something about the person that I caught on to, and then they'll ask a question. The question of the day will be towards something that we know about that person, for example. Something we do often when there's someone in class, we'll ask everybody how long they've been CrossFitting and what is their worst movement, the thing they hate to do. And so then that person is like, okay, that person's been CrossFitting for 9 years and they hate to do pull-ups or whatever it is. And so it just sticks with them. And then they get to have a discussion about, you know, oh, that was hard, but remember, I hate pull-ups or whatever it is. And you just provoke things like that naturally. And so, yeah, so that's part of my client journey as well. But back to your point, we also have an onboarding process. And I'm someone who works well in gray zones. So I'm someone who's okay with flexibility. And I do it with the flexibility, meaning if the person is really dead set on having a free trial, then we'll give it a go and we'll go from there and kind of say, yes, we'll take you directly into class or not. And here's the onboarding and how we present it. So I find that with that flexibility, we get to assess people's needs. So it's individualized and not necessarily put them through a very lean management process that doesn't really stick for everyone.
Yeah, so you're just saying, like, if someone someone tries a class, they're like, yep, I love it, I want to come every day. It's like, okay, cool. Like, you're not going to put the process in their way for some arbitrary reason.
No, exactly. And, you know, there's been some situations where the person is like, yes, I loved it, I'm in. And we're kind of like, okay, but we're not ready to put you in class because ABC reason. And then you just have to explain it to them. Like, you know, here's the best way for you to get the best experience. And I have explained to some people, I don't want to put you in class right away because you need to learn a lot more about the basics, and I need to make it to see you move a lot better before I put you in class, because that will affect everyone else's experience as well, right? So it also setting that mindset of, oh, there is other people and I need to be mindful of the community. So I do a lot of that in terms of, like I said before, understanding how bringing a new person will affect my community. If my coach spends all their time on this one new person because today there's a heavy snatch and they've never done it, all my other 15 members in class are going to not be so happy with their experience today. And I'll hear about it. They're very vocal.
Yeah. That's the thing, right? Exactly. Like we back to that point of like, we need to be able to create a culture where growth is okay, but at the same time it's okay if it goes towards a common good, because otherwise members will say like, hey, I noticed lots of new people are coming and this is great, but this and this, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, is
No
this
longer get
person
coached,
complaining?
you know? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, is this person complaining for the sake of complaining, or do they have a valid point? And just takes being humble from that standpoint. So where, you're 8 months into this thing, what do you want? What do you envision yourself and your family getting out of your affiliate?
Oof, that's a good question. Getting out of my affiliate. Definitely, I have three boys. They are 13, 11, and 8. And I definitely want them to see me going after the the vision that I've had for so long. Definitely want to inspire them to find out through trial and error, what is my journey in life? What do I want to do? How do I want to have an impact on the world around me? That's definitely a big part of it. And then also with regards to health, I want them to understand how they have the power on their health. They have the lead on their health with regards to nutrition, to exercise, mental health, all of it. Because for me, health is holistic. You can't take the person apart in pieces. It just comes in together. So we hit so many of the different spheres of life in a CrossFit gym in terms of social health, psychological health, physical health, all of that. So we hit so many of them that I want them to experience that. Even my husband, who I've been begging for years to come to the gym, started CrossFitting a little bit before I owned the gym, but definitely now since I own the gym, he's here a good 6 days out of 7. And so I think it's continuously influencing them as well.
What's your plan? Because you clearly are a person with a plan. What is your plan to stay balanced though, to still, because I almost feel like, I wonder if, like, the age of your boys, like, it becomes busy potentially with sports and school, but they are at an age where they can start to watch each other and things like that. So you could say, oh, well, I can spend more time at the gym, or I can open up my laptop in the evening because they're out playing. But how important for you early on is finding balance as a business owner, but still having a life?
I'm working on it. I'm
Okay.
working on it. Jokes aside, though, I have a paper agenda, and that's just what rules my life. At this time, I'm doing this, and this time I'm doing this. At this time, I'm doing this, and in between that, I do the best that I can to help them understand as well that when you are building something that's bigger than you are, like when you are really building something, you will have these moments where you are out of balance. You are putting, more effort on one thing than the other. But they're here with me a lot. They come and hang out. They take classes. They're part of it. So they're just as much part of the adventure. So I think for me, it's less about making sure I have balance that way, but that the moments I do have that are outside of the gym with my family, that they are high quality, everything's shut off, and I can do this. Building the team is really, really important for me to be able to have more time allocated to other things than the gym. And not being the end all be all is part of that plan. If I have to be the best at everything here, or I have to handle everything myself, then I'll never have that time. So it's really about building the team, building the structure that will allow me not to be always doing the gym.
Wisdom, 8 months in, that some people 8 years in can't always
Yeah.
um, can't always grasp. Where, so then finally, kind of like, what excites you about, say, like, because again, aside from being fresh at this and having your thing and being able to put it into practice, and maybe that is part of the thing, the piece. But like, say the next 3 years, like, what's a goal for you to grow towards, to push towards, that excites you?
So it's really creating this sort of an ecosystem that I see in my head, between all the spheres of life that we can pull in together to really help people and impact people positively as much as we can. So I'm really trying to build a safe place for people to come to work on their holistic health through CrossFit, through our community, through our facility. And so it's really building from CrossFit outwards to have this safe space where people can just come and be themselves and work on themselves. So whether it's different types of services, different types of partnerships with different types of professionals or services, or just really working on our own community of service. That's really where I see this going in the next 3 years. And I think, honestly, we're well on our way.
And you just reassess, reevaluate, and start back over again. And on that note, 3, 2, 1, time.